Hey, girlfriends and guy friends, it's Danielle Monet, and today I would like to discuss relationships and communication. Now, when I say relationships, I'm not just speaking of from a man to a woman. I'm not just talking about, intimacy. I mean, like all relationships, like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, sister, cousin, co-workers, children, parents, like relationships in general. So in some instances, I'll be specific talking about relationships, be it, what's the word I'm looking for? Gay or straight. Like sometimes I'll talk about relationships, but today I want to just speak on general relationship. I don't even want to say advice. I just want to say things that I've observed over the years and that I think allow for a smoother exchange of communication when in these relationships. So relationships are hard. They are. With be it with a man or a woman, it's just the same spiel I just went over. No matter who it's with, it's hard because you got two different people coming from two different walks of life, two different ways of thinking, two different ways they were raised. Then you got your own concepts and ideas that you develop over the years. So it's kind of challenging. Any relationship is challenging. Okay. But the key that I think to learning each other and not taking each other heads off is to try to communicate better. And that can mean a plethora of things. That can mean, you watch your tone with things you say. And not the old back in the day where we're not supposed to be seen, not heard. Like, no, I'm not talking about that. It's just that I've learned that as a woman, and based off of my prior experiences and even my current experience, some things are just better left unsaid, or it's an appropriate time to say things. Like, you don't always have to state the obvious. You don't always have to revisit things you already had a solution for, you already resolved. That's kind of unnecessary, and it's kind of counterproductive because you'll be back in a circle. Even when it comes to friendships, I'm an advocate for sisterhood. I think we should all stick together. I think that we should have each other back. But I'm just so against this new age throwing shades. I don't like that with my friends. I don't think it's cool. I feel like any way that you feel about me or I feel about you, we should be able to have an adult conversation about it. We should be able to hash things out. We can agree to disagree. It shouldn't have to go to the internet. It shouldn't have to go to your cousin, baby mama, and them. It shouldn't have to be you being brutally honest to me. Now, stay with me with on the brutally honest tip. Why does honesty have to be brutal? It's a saying that the truth hurts. And it's true. The truth does hurt sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to admit your shit. I'm talking about me. Like, sometimes I don't want to hear that shit, but it's the truth. So it's already like leave a little sting to it. But why does it have to be brutal? Why does it have to be public? Why does it have to be hurtful? It doesn't have to be like that. You can communicate with your friends or with your spouse or whoever and say it however you feel or whatever you feel, but it doesn't have to be brutal because it's honest. It can be kind. It can be, presented in a way that you want somebody to tell you some information, not just throwing shade and just being mean. That's not cool. And based on how somebody presents information to you, i.e. the delivery, is going to probably determine the reaction you're going to get. So if you come at somebody sideways about something and you're not getting the desired outcome, most likely it was because the way that you initially came to them. So I just feel like when people communicate, you should always be cognitive of how you want somebody to convey a message to you and how you will react if somebody talked to you, sideways. You know what I'm talking about. Some people just talk slick out their mouth, and that's not cool. Like, we all are opinionated. We all have our different life experiences. And you may say, just like that, the whole debate about the years ago was like a blue and gold dress. Everybody perceives things differently. So even what I say is not law. It's just my experience. So I'm saying all that to say this. Sometimes when people communicate with you, try to be a little bit more optimistic instead of pessimistic. Try to at least assume that what they're telling you is for the good of you, and that is to benefit you in some sort of way, and that they love you. Try that first. Then analyze the situation like, okay, am I overreacting? Am I basing my reaction based off of facts, or am I basing it off of emotion? Did they hit close to home? Like, I had to learn this myself because I used to be a live wire, like a firecracker, like just go off, just react. But like that shit don't get you nowhere. It don't. I've gotten fired for jobs for that attitude. Like I'm sure I probably missed out on opportunities because of the way I was perceived in that moment. And I think that, well, I learned to stop living in the moment and think about things a little bit more long term. Like I allow myself to process emotions. I'm not so quick to speak. I'm not so quick to have an opinion. I stop and I think first before I react, because my reaction will be incorrect. You might can even just hear a person wrong based on what you want to see, and then you react to something that is not even what the intended message was. Another thing, text messages, and sometimes that could be an awful source of communication because you can assume how the person is communicating. Like it just takes a couple seconds to pick up the phone and call. But, text messaging is convenient. So I know we all use text messaging. And I also think it's important to follow up with your friendships or your relationships or whoever you're communicating with after a little bit of time has passed, just to make sure they're okay. Hey, when we talked the other day, I want to make sure that I was heard correctly. Did I offend you anyway? Is there anything else we can discuss? Is there anything we can do to strengthen our relationship? It makes a difference. It really does, because it reassures the person that you're communicating with that you do understand, that you do hear them out, and that you want to be heard as well. Because at the end of the day, 99.9% of arguments amongst individuals are just really because one to two of the people don't feel heard. So because I don't feel heard, when you say something, I don't care about what you say. I'm la 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 la, wait for my part. Oh, blah, 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 because you didn't hear me. So now you don't hear me. I'm trying to win an argument and nothing is getting accomplished. So if we just listen actively and we communicate a little bit better, it'll bring a better outcome. I guarantee you. I know it 100%. Try it. Just try it. Try first. Just try it off with your spouse to see how it works. Just try to listen to them. And really take what they say and try to go to a better outcome. Try to just listen instead of just saying stuff. Instead of speaking on emotions. Your feelings hurt, so you're just going to dig below the belt. Don't do that. Listen, and then communicate better. Like, try to convey your message a little bit better without being hurtful. And if you do have to bring up the truth, don't rub it in somebody's face. That's not cool. Nobody want to hear the past. Nobody hear what they've been did. This situation. Check on your friends. Make sure they're good. Just a check-in. It don't got to be consistent. I know life getting away and sometimes we're busy. But like once a month, if you ain't heard from somebody, hey, how you doing? Wellness check. Just checking on you. How do you feel? How's work? How's life? Like, it's important, man. Life is really short. I keep saying that because it is. Like, you got to hold on to those who love you and who going to love on you, and cherish those people and distinguish those people amongst people that are using you and don't mean no good for you. Find your tribe and stick with them. And that's all I got for today.